What's up, everybody? This is Cadmus back at you with episode number 8 of this F1 2010 Let's Play Career Mode on Expert with Team Lotus. Had a pretty good result in the last race. Let's see if we can better it this time. In homage to that annoying fuck Rob, the engineer. And yeah, you know, you would guess that teams would start to show interest when a rookie in a Lotus with his teammate always at the back of the grid is third in the WDC. 4 points behind Vettel, and Webber is quite a good distance ahead, 129 points, so 22 points ahead of me, almost a full win ahead. So I need to claw myself back in and start beating Webber here, because this is getting tight. Constructors, well, not going to win that in a Lotus. You need a teammate to actually be useful, and well, I can't blame Truly. He's not doing that bad, 16th, 18th. I mean, he's not at the back of the grid, really. He's the first of the newcomers, like Lotus was this year. So practice session, had a little R&D objective here to increase my rear downforce with 5%. So I'm not going to show you the practice laps as usual, just to show you, the R&D, how it works. If you don't know, you need to click accept and drive out. And you need to drive out. You can't just do the hot lap like you do in qualifying. Changing the engine again. In these seasons, it's important to preserve your engines. Only 8 engines, 19 Grand Prix. So they're going to have to do 2 Grand Prix, some even 3 Grand Prix. So you're going to want to have them in good shape when you're going trucking. going trucking. So P9, I know the circuit fairly well. It's really one of my favorites. I know it fairly well, but I haven't really raced it that much. But I know it enough. I didn't have to do 5 million qualifying laps like I did in Istanbul, which I didn't know at all. Setup 3-1, brake balance to the front, ballast distribution to the front. Suspension 2 and 3, because you do need to ride the curbs quite a lot in this track, so you don't want to 1-1. Linear gearbox works fine for this track. Sometimes you want to tweak it more. Always put in just 3 fuel when you're qualifying. Do 1 hot lap. Don't want to put the camber rear too much down, because you want a good traction. It's a difficult circuit again to find the right traction. And here we are for the hot lap in Valencia. Flat out here through, of course, first section. Flat out. Here the first corner, you brake at around the 100 meter mark, 70 meter mark more. Cut that curb as much as you can. Easy on the throttle, exiting out of here. Up to 5th, you brake under that DHL sign, and 3rd, hit that curb. Easy on the throttle, boom, flat out ahead. You really need to ride the curbs in this track. This section is, of course, flat out in these F1 cars. You brake at almost exactly the 100 meter mark. You nail that curb again, nail the apex as much as you can. Easy on the throttle again, exiting out. Second, here you don't want to hit that curb too much or you will spin out. You want to avoid the curb on exiting too. Don't hit it too much. What I did here is fine. Otherwise, you lose speed here. Use the maximum of the track. Don't just hug that center of the corner here. You want to really exit out fast. Here you brake again the 100 meter mark. Ride that curb in 3rd. Feather the throttle. Gradual throttle input. Watch out here. You're prone to spin out. Drop down to 3rd with a little touch of brake, but not a lot. Avoid that curb exiting again to get yourself good exit speed. There's the button just leaving me room for once in AI in qualifying, which is nice. Here you brake at, pretty much where the curb starts. Again, hit the apex, but don't hit the curb too much or it'll spin out. Short shift into 5th so you can go flat out and, well, get the turning point better than I did here, because I went a bit wide. Here it's important, don't go over that left side, over that little line. Hit that curb and brake as you hit the curb. Down to 2nd, hit that curb and slowly exit out. And there we are, back on the home straight for this hot lap on Valencia in the Lotus, 141.897. Provisional pole since, well, it's the first lap set. Still got me P7. Was the first lap in the session, didn't improve myself, so it's the one you're seeing. I know I could have done better. They're in the ending, exiting out. I probably wouldn't have gotten pole, but P5 or P4 would have been a possibility. But, that's how it goes. Just like in real qualifying, can always get the best of laps. Vettel on pole in 140.08 something, so it's still a pretty big gap. Down for the race in Valencia, and again, no rain. This is race 9 of the season, and I haven't seen a single drop of rain in qualifying or in the race, which is kind of a bitch, because I don't mind driving in the rain, and the AI is ridiculously slow in the rain, so that kind of arranges me. If I'm going to be fighting for the WDC, I first need to keep Webber behind me, who, of course, again, qualified ahead of me. Not on pole this time. I think he's only 4th. So that opens perspectives for Webber to lose some points. I mean, he's been really gunning it. I mean, he had that freak accident in Monaco where Schumacher hit him in the pit lane and took both of them out. I'm guessing that's what happened. Of course, no replays in F1 2010. Well, in the career mode there is, but only of your own car, so I still wouldn't have seen it. Epic failure. CM give us some great replay modes, so I can do like a really nice race edit and stuff. Here it's cockpit view. I guess it's good for you guys to learn. But we're off already while I'm jabbering. Alonso passes me on the inside, so I'm figuring, hey, fuck you, I'm going around the outside. Braked very late, but I brake hard, so I'm down a 2nd instead of 3rd. I'm usually taking this corner. And I even managed to get almost on the side of Rosberg, so I'm trying to nail him in here. It's a pretty ballsy move. Didn't touch him, but it was unorthodox. I really did squeeze him out. Probably forced him to cut that corner. But, you know, shit happens. That's what you get, Rosbergy. And, well, I mean, P5's up from P7, actually P8. Because Alonso passed me in that corner. And here, trying not to bump into Hamilton. And always, you really need to extra focus when you're, like, racing close with someone. Because you can't always take your usual line. You can't always, you know, brake at your usual braking point. Sometimes you're on the inside of a corner, so you can't see your braking point as well. And boom, that's why I say, ooh, around the outside of Hamilton here. It worked pretty well, I must say. I said Valencia is not a circuit the AI is known for their excellent lead uberness. They're quite slow on it, not as slow as in Montreal, but quite slow indeed. Montreal was just a walk in the park, really. You're just putting the pressure on the Webber a little bit. Really, really want to get ahead of him to claw myself back into the championship. Was he 22 points ahead? So, and here, yeah, you see me really, I'm not taking this corner flat out. It's not really a passing opportunity, and since the AI is so slow through that first kink, well, I was slow through there as well because I didn't want to hump into him from behind. Even though he's my rival in the championship, I don't want to get him out of the race or, you know, get a penalty. Because, you know, I mean, the penalty system is retarded, but I'm sure a lot of you guys complaining about it are just trying way too optimistic moves against the AI. Penalty system doesn't make it less retarded. Oh, here, again, he goes wide through that corner, and I can get on the throttle earlier. So that passes me Webber. So I'm like, whoop. Webber's only in 4th. So if then I can make up 1 or 2 more spots, you know, and take the win, or at least take Vettel, I'm gonna do a good thing here for the championship. Getting ahead of Webber, clawing my points back. Hoping to build my to catch up to Vettel. He's only slightly ahead of me, and Button's gunning it though. He's at 5.5 seconds here. Not having much of an issue though to create a gap to Webber. That's going fairly easily. But Vettel's going pretty fast, so I'm still gunning it here. Lap 2, scheduled pit stop lap 4, so we're not there yet. And yeah, just, you know, getting to Vettel slowly but surely. I'm catching up to him. Webber is dropping back, it seems, a little bit. And I like the Valencia circuit. It's weird we don't get good races in real life on it. Because I really like the circuit. It's nice, it's flowing, it's technical, it's fast. It's a street circuit. It looks great, but the races just seem to be so boring. Unless, you know, there's a Red Bull that goes flying like Mark Webber did this year on, well, the guy's whose seat I took in this career, Heikki Kovalainen, just went flying over the Lotus. That was pretty crazy. And it seems like I put the new fastest lap, which doesn't happen that often, really. But I'm guessing it's because of pretty sure the AI is faked as long as they're not within your field of vision, because sometimes you have Chandog doing like super fastest laps, or, you know, Degrassi and shit. And yeah, sorry, but that's just retarded. That'll never happen. Well, you know, what am I saying? I'm running in P3 in the Lotus and 30 in the Drivers' Championship, so maybe realism is not the most important selling point. Handling of the cars is great. There's just that one thing where you slam on the brakes and you can correct your car spin, which is a bit of a shame. You know, if you fuck up and you go into the decor, you know, you hit the wall. That's what happens in Formula 1. And when you mess up, Just ask Petrov. Almost hit the ass here of Vettel, giving him some surprise butt sex, but there we go. Exactly what I was talking about. Feel the spin coming, slam on the brakes, and the car will straighten out by itself. Of course, you do lose some speed, but not a lot. And really struggling in the Lotus to get some good top speed. I mean, you saw my ring settings, only a 3 and 1. Ballsy pass on the inside. I'm basically pulling a Kobayashi on Alonso, but here it's me against against Vettel. That was a nice pass by Kobayashi this year's Grand Prix. Basically pull the same, braking very, very late, going wide, squeezing him out. And if he doesn't want to crash into me, well, he'll just have to slow down and let me pass. So, you know, racing on the edge, but still a clean move. No contact or anything. Just shouldn't have left that gap open, I guess. Just covered his inside lines. So on the hunt to Button, but I'm thinking, yeah, this is my last lap before scheduled pit stop. Managed to get the gap down a little bit now that I'm in clean air, but thinking Button's really gunning for it. 5 seconds. There's lap 4, so there's still some laps to go. There's the pit stops, of course. So I'm thinking, I still have a chance here, but I don't want to push it too hard, because once your options start turning orange on this track, you do feel the problems with traction. You're prone, much more prone to spin out. So gotta pay attention to it. So I'm trying to be fast, but not too fast. Here you see Button really clawed a full second in that lap, even though in that sector, even though I didn't really make any mistakes. So yeah, I'm doubtful about how this AI is working. Tricky. Oh, by the way, I had a lot of questions about what cockpit mod I'm using. You know, the look to apex effect and the head movement under braking and accelerating. I'm putting a link in the description below. So if you want to check out that mod, it's only for PC users. As I said, you can't mod a console. So I'm sorry, you console guys are stuck with the default cockpit view. But there's a link in there to racedepartment.com where I find the mod. Realistic Cameras mod, it's called. I didn't make it at all. Don't want to take credit of that. But check it out. It's a really great mod. You see it in effect right here, and I can't race without it. So here's pit stop time, and I again forgot to check out the pit lane, but this is a pretty easy one, so not too bad. Don't think I'll lose too much time here. There's McLaren ready to pit, it would seem. Oh, I passed Button, it would seem. Yeah, he's probably gonna. Yeah, there he is, Button going past already. Ferrari's behind me. That's Massa, I guess, or Alonso. Probably Alonso. 3.9 seconds. Good job, Team Lotus. Nice pit stop. Here, oh nope, must have been who's that? Who's that Ferrari in front of me? That's Alonso, yeah. So that must have been Massa behind me. So Alonso's not doing too great in this season. Maybe he's gonna put a late season charge as in real life. I don't know. A bit of a shame. I come out again just behind Alonso. I really could have used some clean air here, get some distance between me. Vettel already pitted because we see Webber's in the lead now. So I'm hoping there's no team orders at Red Bull and letting Vettel through again. We already saw that in the last Grand Prix where Webber passed Vettel in the last laps. Here he was quite a distance behind me, and I was, ahead of Webber, Vettel too. But it was at least 2-3 seconds behind. So let's see if Red Bull has team orders or not. Unlike Ferrari, who don't even make a secret of it. Ain't that right, Mr. Eyebrows? Are you faster than me? I don't think so. I'm right on your tail, baby. Surprise butt sex. There we go. Really looking forward to getting an improved car, though, because I'm hurting on the straights. I can't line them up for traditional passes, slipstream, get out of the slipstream. At least here I can follow Alonso, but it's hard to really line them up for traditional passes. I really need to dive into gaps, Kobayashi Kamikaze style, because here again, I almost bumped into his ass. I kind of do, but they're so slow in that kink as well. I've said this before, there is an AI mod in, but I'm not putting it on for this season. Maybe for next season, if I'm going to be fitting that, I'll definitely put it on. But I knew he was going to pit, so I wasn't insisting too much. Still cost me probably a couple of tenths. That's a hard word for a non-native English speaker. So here, I'm released, almost missed that corner. That's a dangerous corner. You're very, you can lose your front wing here. And I'm kind of losing my focus here. I was watching the timing, see where everybody ended up after a round of pit stops. Lucky here I don't get my wing busted. It was more the tire. And I guess lucky there's no suspension damage in the game. So I'm still in P2 behind Button. And yep, what do we know? Webber passed Vettel in the pits. In the pit stops. Well, screw you, man, Red Bull. No team orders my ass. Seriously? I really need Vettel to take off those points of his teammate. Because, I mean, P2 and P3, that's not going to let me claw back a lot of points. So, I'm down to hoping either Vettel passes him again, which I don't really bank on, or me catching a Button. So, let's go for the chase to Mr. Button. Mr. Jensen Button. So, yeah, I was losing focus here in this lap. It was a very tough lap for me. But after that, you know, I'm just gritting my teeth and just getting back into the vibe. You saw me, I had put up my wing a little bit just to get the confidence back and back the flow. But for the straights, I slap it straight down again. I'm already hurting enough on top speed against these AIs with my Kurumi Cosworth engine. So I seem to be closing down Button a bit. He's at 3.899 seconds. While before the pit stops, it was like at 5.6. So this opens perspectives. We're over halfway the race done. But I'm still pretty confident on this. I don't seem to be able to lose Webber though. He's all of a sudden he is holding on. Must have not fractured his shoulder yet in a biking accident here. And here I'm feeling I was too cautious through this corner the whole race, especially in attack mode. But it's just so dangerous. You can hit that wall straight up and you will lose your front wing there. There's no question about it. So didn't want to jeopardize my chances. I mean, second is still pretty good. Still trying to push here though. I'm on the hunt for Button. I want that victory here. There's gonna be other circuits where the AI isn't this weak, so I need to maximize everything I can in these weak AI circuits like this one. Don't really know what the next one is. Silverstone, I think, and that's a pretty tricky one. The AI is fairly fast through there, so we're gonna be struggling there. And it's a circuit I don't know especially well. Done some time trial on it for RD's time trial competition, but that's basically it. And 2 career races before I restarted and started this one. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of training, Silverstone, that's for sure. But of course, we're still in Valencia, and I'm still chasing Button, but I don't seem to be able to cut down the gap. Engine is on fast setting pretty much throughout the race. It seems to me that on 20% races, it's nigh impossible to run out of fuel. I'm doing some short shifting and stuff as well, not revving out like crazy either, but I think it's pretty impossible to run out of fuel on the shorter race distance. On the longer race distances, you guys need to watch out on Valencia, because I've heard a lot of reports of people running out of fuel in Valencia on the longer race distances, which is like starting from 50% onwards. So if you have trouble with that, well, don't run in fast engine setting too long, and also run cruise if you can, if you have a little gap. Short shift where you can. Don't max revs too much. Make sure your gearing set up right, so at the end of the straight you're not making your engine scream like crazy, and then you should be okay. But Valencia is one of those circuits where people have reported running out of fuel. As I said, 20% races, yeah, don't worry about it. You can set it in fast pretty much the whole race. I don't do it on every track because sometimes finding a traction is so hard that are sometimes better off on standards, or only put it on when you're like really pushing and willing to take some risks. And otherwise I put in a standard if I'm just cruising around. I'm still getting it here. I really want Button. I'm trying to ride on the limit as much as I can without jeopardizing my chances for the championship, of course. But just can't seem to catch up to him. Button's driving very strong here this weekend in Valencia. I don't think he's won a race yet, but he's been having some good results. I think he's quite handily beaten Hamilton. So yeah, it's pretty much reversed order than in real life. Webber's stomping Vettel and Hamilton's getting stomped by Button. Even though both teams and both drivers from both teams were close in real life, you know, in the end it's still Hamilton on top and Vettel on top. So again, 3.7 seconds. I'm not closing the gap fast enough. Again, went too wide here, cost me a couple hundredths at least. So lap 8 of 11, going to lap 9. Starting to look grim here for the race victory. Not that I'm disappointed. The second place ahead of Webber, which is most important at this point. Makes me a happy donkey. But still, like that P1. You see, I'm still gunning it. And just slap down a fastest lap here, so that's nothing to sneeze at either. And I am suddenly catching up the button, 2.4 seconds. So here's a glimmer of hope. I'm like, this might still be possible. I see him much closer in my view here. Weber is still following very nicely though. 143.231. Just decent race pace. Of course, should go down further. Hopefully, fuels keeps going down. Tires start wearing out now too. But the first sector was quicker, so I got a good chance here. Almost spin out. You can see me just having to correct it a little bit. Took that curve just a little tad too much, and well, that's what happened. So very overcast Valencia, but again, no rain. No, I want rain races. I really hope on the more challenging tracks coming up, well, challenging mostly in the sense that the AI is very fast on it, but I'm going to see some rain, because that's very easy to win against the AI in the rain. That's unless, you know, pit stops come in and it stops raining. And I do have this fix installed, not the Codemasters fix, a fix made by a Creatorex on the CM forums, who tweaked the original. Ooh, going for a spin, almost lose it there again. The brake slapping. But that basically crushes my chance of the catching button. That little spin right there. Don't really know what happened. Must have been released the brakes just a bit too late, and well, that's what happens. You spin, just corrected it, managed to keep Weber on a comfortable distance. Yeah, as I was saying, I have this fix that allows you to have the rubbering line and the dry line forming, and it doesn't eat up my FPS as much as the CM fix does. So go check that out. It's in the CM forums. It's the sticky post of the CM puddles fix. Just search for a post by a guy named Creatorex, and he has the files on there you need to put in. Works very well for me. Don't lose as much FPS as with the Codemasters fix, and I still have the drying and the racing line. You know, the rubbered-in track you see here fairly nicely. And it's kind of like the dynamic racing line, but then naturally. Okay, you don't know where you need to brake, but you see the ideal racing line, which is always handy. And it's more important in wet races, because then you actually can see a dry line and you know more when to pit, because Rob the engineer is not going to tell you when to pit. It's like saying, oh, this guy changed the slick tires and he just set the fastest sector, which in real F1 you usually see, you know, once someone has put in the slick tires and he's going fast in the drying line, everybody and their mama runs into the pit lane. So it would be nice for 2011, some better pit advice. Excuse me, I just took a little sip here. So, yeah, my hopes of getting Button are kind of crushed with that spin, and he's running away from me. 3.8 seconds. Well, not running away, really. Weber's following nicely. He was running away from Vettel. He took 5 seconds on Vettel. So, yeah, team orders in Red Bull. Shame on you, Mr. Horner. Shame on you. And chastising Ferrari for it. How dare you. I guess we're going to have team orders next year anyway. It's allowed again as long as it doesn't damage the sport. Yeah, screw you. I think they should put a rule in that team orders are allowed starting from, like, race, I don't know, it's 20 races next year, starting from race 15 of the season. Because then it's logical you would let your teammate through if he's had a chance of the championship. But not in Hockenheim when, you know, it was too early in the season to give those team orders. Ferrari. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. Poor Felipe baby. Felipe baby. Be cool. I gotta give it to, I'm not a huge Felipe Massa fan. Thinking he's pretty much overrated. Had one good season. That was pretty much it. But gotta give it to him. He and his race engineer, especially his race engineer, is the funniest motherfucking race engineer alive. It's like, yeah, here I had a phone call, so I had to pause it. Pretty important work phone call, so, you know, I had to pause it, and that's always hard here. Luckily, it's the last lap, but it's hard to get back in year 5. It was at least like a 15-minute phone call. So I had to pause it, put it back on. Challenging, but, you know, I wasn't in a battle, really. I was just holding position. So, it wasn't too bad either. That's the fun of racing against the AIs. You can pause whenever you want. This was an online race. I would have just had to quit and be like, ooh, fuck it. Or ignore the phone call and not, you know, not get the business. So, yeah. Wouldn't have been cool. Wouldn't have been cool. So, yeah, this looks like this is going to be P2 in Valencia for me. Why the European Grand Prix, right? So there's 2 Grand Prix in Spain. Aren't there enough, you know, European countries to host a Grand Prix in that has to be 2 times in Spain? You know, bring it back to Austria, right? The A1 rings in Austria or something like that. Just don't get it. I still like Valencia, but they should make this the Spanish Grand Prix and not Catalunya. Huh, there I said it. There's P2, fist pumping again, in his little Degrassi helmet, another mod. Look for it on the race department forums. It's called a Degrassi helmet thing, something.
Brilliant! Second place! Oh, that came out of nowhere.
And thank you, Rob. You're actually appropriately excited this time again. You're improving on that. So Weber in third. So I'm not going to make up a lot of points on him, and Weber's going to catch me up a bit. Only made up 3 points on Weber, so yeah, not too happy with that, but still, it ain't too shabby. P2, Massa, whatever I see, Truly ended. Slow down. Where's Truly? I don't see Truly. There's Truly. Oh, I don't know where he is. Who cares anyway? I'm beating him hands down. I want that number 1 driver slot. There we go, past Vettel, but Button got even with us, and, well, caught up 3 points to Weber, 19 points behind. So, everything's playable. We're only halfway through the season, of course. So, we already have Catalunya, which I knew I was not going to get any points. The other ones should be able to get points pretty much everywhere, I think. If I remember correctly, I don't exactly remember the end of the season that well in, you know, in the career modes. But here's the, I never talked about this, but your team sets objectives. So, well, I'm in the Lotus, so they have pretty low objective, finish 18th. Yeah, that works. And that helps you getting their satisfactions for the resigning, and also helps your reputation, I think. If you hit the team's objectives every time, you'll get more reputation points. So we're at rep 12. If this goes on, might be at rep 24. So it's going to be touch and go to see if I can go to Williams. I think they have rep 24 or 25. They're not interested yet, I think, on the, you know, on the laptop of Françoise. Let's get the interview. So yeah, I feel kind of bad saying, yeah, I'm challenging for the championship, because I shouldn't really be in a Lotus, but, you know, I'm starting getting happy with my performance. Maybe I'm gonna, you know, bitch at the team a bit, because I want number 1 status. I mean, any team would have given me number 1 status here. Team orders for the win, as long as they're for me. So yeah, I think my teammate should watch his back. I mean, Jesus, he hasn't scored a single point. I'm second in the WDC. Yeah, give me that drive, man. So yeah, team is thrilled. Zauber is favored, so because I was a bit critical, it still made them favored. If I would have been totally critical, that slice would have been up more, and they would have said you're guaranteed a contract with this team. Like I said, probably want to stay with Lotus, like if I can get a Williams drive. There we go. Next race, Silverstone. Be sure to like, comment, and or subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in a couple of days, probably. Peace out.